Here we are at the garden area of the Barrett complex. According to Vitruvian philosophy in Chapter 2, this area has a great amount of propriety due to its openness and many plants which honor the gods. It fails to meet Vitruvian's values within Chapter 5 about walls, however. Here we see the walls have large gaps, no roundness, and easy to bypass the gate, and thus provides very little security. Even still, the area is overall nice, and part of its calm winds and trees, which ward off the heat, as Vitruvian emphasizes, is an important factor to avoid when building a city in Chapter 4.
The exit under Rosewood is in a good location because there's direct access to the road and place for transportation of resources. It's also symmetric, which is one of the fundamental principles of Vitruvian architecture. However, the defense is very poor. Vitruvius says in chapter 5.2 that special pains should be taken that there be no easy avenue by which to storm the wall. This exit contrasts that statement because there is no solid wall here, instead we have a metal fence. The fence is also very low and easy to climb over. It's also in a square shape rather than a circular shape, making it easy to attack.
Vitruvius details the importance of controlling heat within the city limits. He says in his writings that if the heat becomes too unbearable for the citizens inside the city, then it could be destroyed from the inside by these unhappy citizens, meaning that the controlling of heat within the city is just as important as fortifying the city itself. The Barrett Auditorium is strategically shaded so that the people sitting are shaded from the sun during nearly every hour of the day, allowing for a more pleasant viewing experience. Another factor that must be taken into account when trying to improve the happiness of the people as well as their health is the positioning of your construction in regards to area that can bring in harmful breezes. The high walls around the auditorium allow for very little dangerous outside air to make it into the auditorium, and the pathway leading to the auditorium also doesn't let in breezes from outside harmful sources. Vitruvius explains later in the chapters that the materials of walls can vary depending on how various different materials that may be used, including dimension stone, flint, rubble, burnt or unburnt brick. The Barrett Auditorium is made up of multiple stories of a material very similar to dimension stone, allowing for a difficult to destroy wall. This, along with the immense height of the walls, makes the auditorium highly fortified.
The second location is the Ross Blakely Hall, located north of Barrett the Honors College along McAllister Avenue. From Chapter 2 on the fundamental principles of architecture, Vitruvius would disapprove of the building because it is all out of proportion and shape, in contrast to the idea of eurythmy. The propriety of the building, however, the appearance is not quite indicative of what it is inside, and on approach it can be difficult to even identify the way it faces since it's set back so far. However, the interior matches the exterior in its bizarre fashion, particularly evidenced with strange windows both inside and out. The curvature of the building also offers some respite from the wind, allowing people to eat outdoors without being assailed by the moving air, be it cold or warm. This is found in Chapter 6 on wind. The position of the building shows a lack of general convenience and utility, as it can be difficult to find the entrance from Chapter 7 in location of Vitruvius. Economically, back to the fundamental principles of architecture, the material appears to be relatively cost-efficient, with thin metal platings covering the roof in favor of tilings. The main constructive material also appears to fit the biome in such a way that it must be local to some degree. The building is also effective in defense, as the round shape and plated exterior is a benefit. However, there is no elevated area for archers or any other defensive positions to be. This information can be found in Chapter 5 on city walls. In addition, there is no symmetry to the building whatsoever. It's filled with different shapes, all in different places, from side to side and front to back. This is particularly evidenced in the rounded front edge of the building and the flat, sharp back edge of the building. The back edge is also weaker in terms of defense, because battering rams or other siege weapons would be able to easily break it. Also, there's really weird windows.